Have you ever felt like your heart is trying to speak, but the words just won't come out? There are days when your chest is tight with questions, and praying feels like whispering into a void that refuses to answer back. Breathe in. Notice the weight pressing on your shoulders, the ache that settles somewhere deep in your bones. There's a hush all around you. Not the comforting kind, but the kind that makes you wonder if anyone is listening at all. You wake up tired, even after a full night's sleep. Your soul feels heavy, like it has been running a marathon nobody else can see. Maybe you've stopped asking for big miracles. Maybe now, you just hope for a sign, any sign, that you haven't been forgotten. It's strange, isn't it? How you keep showing up, keep hoping, even when the silence grows louder each day. Sometimes the pain is so tangled up inside that there are no words left, only a longing for someone to notice, to understand without you having to explain. You try to carry on, to smile, to keep moving, but there's an invisible weight that won't let go. Maybe you're tired of waiting for answers that never seem to arrive. Maybe the hardest part isn't the struggle itself, but the feeling that you're facing it all alone. But what if the silence isn't emptiness? What if this quiet is not neglect, but something else, something you can't yet see? Let yourself linger in this moment, just for a breath. What if the silence is not the end of your story, but the very beginning of something waiting to be spoken? Maybe you've been carrying a weight for so long, you don't even remember when it started. Maybe it's a quiet ache just beneath the surface that you've learned to hide even from yourself. There are days when you wonder if anyone else notices how tired you are, how heavy everything feels. Sometimes you even wonder if you're failing, if your inability to shake off this feeling is a sign of weakness or if there's something broken inside you. You're not alone in this. Even those who seem strong, who speak with certainty and walk with confidence, have nights when silence echoes too loudly and questions come with no answers. Have you ever found yourself apologizing, not just to others, but to yourself for not being able to move on, for still feeling stuck? Do you ever feel guilty for needing rest, for craving quiet, for having nothing left to give? There's a kind of exhaustion that settles deep in the soul, one that no amount of sleep or distraction can fix. Maybe you've pushed yourself to keep going, to keep believing, to keep hoping, but all you find is more silence, more waiting, more questions that circle around your heart. And in the silence, the doubts creep in. Is it supposed to feel like this? Am I flawed for struggling? Is my quiet faith enough, even when it feels like no one is listening? Sometimes you might feel ashamed for not being stronger, for needing help, for feeling lost when everyone else seems found. But what if your struggle doesn't mean you're failing? What if this quiet ache, this unseen battle, is a part of being real, of being human? How long have you carried this pain that you can't put into words? And what if, in this hidden place, something is quietly changing, even if you can't see it yet? Sometimes it feels as if nothing changes, as if darkness is just a permanent companion. But then, almost unnoticed, something shifts. Like the hush before rain, when the air grows gentle and full of promise, even if the storm has not yet arrived. There are moments so quiet that you almost miss them. A sigh of relief, a single deep breath, a sudden warmth in the cold. Maybe it's a memory that returns out of nowhere, a hand on your shoulder, a laugh you didn't expect, a night when sleep finally came after so many restless hours. There is something about the way seeds lie hidden in the earth. For a long time, nothing appears to happen. But beneath the surface, life is busy weaving its silent work. Roots push down, searching. Shoots curl upward, stretching for a light they cannot yet see. Perhaps the silence you carry is not emptiness, but a shelter. Maybe your waiting is not wasted, but a season of quiet creation. Have you ever felt comfort without knowing why? Stood up again when you were sure you couldn't? There are days when the weight feels a little lighter, even if you can't explain it. Nights when the ache grows softer and you find yourself breathing just a bit easier. Sometimes hope is not a shout or a song. It is a whisper that lingers, almost lost, but somehow still there. It could be that something is moving in the quiet, growing in the dark, preparing to break through. Maybe the absence is not just an empty space, but a womb. Perhaps what you call silence is actually the careful knitting together of new strength, new tenderness. The first light of dawn doesn't arrive with a shout, but with a slow, certain glow. And maybe, just maybe, the story isn't finished yet. Maybe this is not abandonment. Maybe this is the silence of a God who remains, unseen, unheard, yet impossibly close. Maybe what you're living is not a pause, not a void, but a hidden gestation. It's the breath held quietly before a new beginning, the gentle hush that covers a field before the first green appears. What if the darkness you feel is not emptiness, but the secret chamber of creation? What if the heaviness is not a tomb, but a womb? It's possible that what you thought was the end is actually the silent making of something new. The silence that once felt like absence now begins to feel like a careful tending, a quiet presence working beneath the surface. All those moments when words failed, when prayers dissolved into sighs, when hope was only a faint memory. Maybe these are not wasted seasons. Maybe they are seeds in the dark, roots reaching further than you can see. The quiet, the weight, the ache. Each has a hidden purpose. Each is a part of something forming within. Perhaps you are not lost, not forgotten. Perhaps you are being held in a mystery where life grows in silence. The breath you take now, the pause in your story, the stillness you didn't choose. Maybe these are not signs of being stopped, but of being prepared. It is possible that what feels like silence is actually presence. That what feels like stillness is sacred movement. That the darkness is not punishment, but protection, a hidden place where hope is quietly returning. This is not the end. This is the sacred silence, the holy waiting, the slow and secret growing. This is what it means to be carried by a presence too gentle for words. Maybe right now you feel something shifting inside, a gentle relief, or perhaps a single tear that found permission to fall. If the words you heard so far made sense, even if you can't explain why, know that this too is faith, quiet beginning real. You're allowed to feel uncertain, to not have all the answers, and still let hope stretch its fragile roots deeper into you. If your heart whispers yes, even softly, you're not alone. There are others listening in the quiet, holding their questions close, letting these words echo in places they rarely show the world. You belong to a silent circle. People who live with hidden ache, who are learning that waiting is not wasted, that darkness can be shelter, that maybe, just maybe, something new is forming beneath the surface. You can let yourself respond, just a little. Maybe it's as simple as breathing out a quiet amen, or pressing your hand to your chest for a moment, like a small anchor in the storm. Maybe you feel moved to share a word or a sign, not for anyone else's approval, but to say to yourself, I'm still here. I am listening. I'm hoping, even now, know that you are seen, even in your silence. The invisible weight you carry is not a mark of failure, but part of a hidden story unfolding. Others are walking this path at your side, even if you never meet their eyes. And as you linger in this space, let your heart stay open. There is more to come, something wholly drawing near, gentle and patient, waiting to meet you right where you are. Let this waiting, this ache, become a quiet invitation for what is sacred to reveal itself in time. Maybe now, in the quiet that remains after Somwido's Dies da Espera, you begin to sense it. God never left your side. Not for a moment. Even when words failed you, when your prayers dried up and your heart felt too tired to hope, He stayed. Gentle, patient, never demanding more than you could give. Perhaps you've carried the weight of thinking you needed to prove something, to be stronger, to feel more faith or joy. But Jesus never came for the unbreakable. He came for hearts just like yours, worn, uncertain, longing for rest. There is no accusation in His gaze, no tally of your doubts, your silences, the days you drifted far. Only presence, quiet, unwavering. Even when you felt nothing, even when you stopped reaching out, He never turned away. You don't have to earn His closeness. You don't have to find the perfect words or force yourself to feel what you can't. The sacred has always been near, holding your pain with a tenderness that asks for nothing in return. You're not disqualified by exhaustion, by feeling lost, or by not knowing how to begin again. There is freedom here. You don't need to fix yourself to be seen or heal yourself to be loved. God has not given up on you, not even on the days you thought of giving up on everything. Maybe that's what hope really is. Not a performance, but the quiet endurance of being held, even in silence. And maybe, just maybe, He's already spoken to your pain in a language older than words, reaching through the centuries to meet you here. Something holy draws near, ready to reveal what your heart has been longing to hear. Maybe you never realized it, but this ache you carry, this longing that has no words, has always had a place in the ancient story. The silent chambers of your heart are not unknown, not ignored. There's a verse that waits quietly in the shadows with you, breathing with the same hope and the same ache. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34, verse 18. This isn't just an old promise, faded by time or softened by distance. It is a living whisper, reaching across centuries to touch your trembling soul right now. It doesn't require you to be stronger or braver or to find the right words to pray. It simply meets you as you are, in the heaviness, in the confusion, in the silent places you can't explain to anyone else. This word doesn't ask you to rise or to prove yourself. It just sits beside your pain, holding it with a quiet understanding. It sees the cracks in your spirit, the places you feel unseen, and draws close. Right now, in this very moment, you're not alone. You don't have to explain your struggle or make your sorrow beautiful. This gentle promise is not waiting for you to be ready. It comes to find you where you are. You are seen, you are held, you're not abandoned. Let this verse settle into your bones, like a warm light finding its way into all the cold corners. Even if you can't find hope, hope has found you. The Lord is near, closer than your own breath, attentive to every unspoken pain. And here, right here, you are embraced. Maybe today your only prayer is simply to remain standing. Faith, at times, is just the courage to inhale with hope, even when words seem to vanish before they reach your lips. It's not about running, striving, or proving anything. The seed of the word grows quietly in the dark, while you simply breathe, while your heart continues its quiet conversation with the one who knows every ache. Remaining can be sacred. The ordinary rhythm of your day, waking up tired, moving through routines, feeling the hush of an unspoken longing. This too is spiritual ground. You don't have to perform or impress. Sometimes the deepest act of trust is to be present within your own skin, letting faith be as gentle as a sigh. Perhaps the path right now is not outward, but inward, a silent journey that has already begun, even if you haven't noticed. The invitation isn't to strive or to act, but just to stay, to let the silence fill with presence, to let the quiet spaces inside you become a dwelling place for hope. In this gentle waiting, nothing is wasted. Every breath, every pause, every silent longing is already known and treasured. The holy can be found in the breathing, in the waiting, in the simple act of staying just as you are. Even in the smallest moments, the sacred is near. And so, you walk this inner path, no hurry, no pressure, trusting that faith is alive, even when it feels like only a whisper inside you. Lord, I come to you without rehearsed words or brave declarations. My soul is tired, and sometimes the weight I carry feels nameless. There are things I cannot express, aches I don't know how to name, but you see every hidden place within me. I don't want to pretend that I'm strong or healed. I just want to rest in you, even if my prayer is only silence. Thank you for not turning away from my unfinished trust, for not leaving me alone in the long valleys, for holding me when I have nothing left to give. Teach me to trust even when I cannot feel. Remind me that, in the quiet, you are closer than I imagine. Let my waiting be a womb where hope is formed, not a void where I am forgotten. I bring you my doubts and my tired hope, my trembling faith that sometimes feels smaller than a seed. I don't want to perform or impress you. I just want to be found by you exactly as I am. If all I can offer is my breath, let that be enough for today. If my only prayer is a sigh, let it rise to you as a song. I surrender my need to have answers, my urge to fix what is broken inside me. Thank you for staying near when I am silent, for calling my name when I am lost in the quiet. In this ordinary life, in all its routine and ache, make each small moment sacred with your presence. Lord, I trust that you are at work, even in the places I cannot see, even in the pain I cannot put into words. Thank you for being the one who never gives up on me, even when I'm tempted to give up on myself. Hold me in your gentle silence and teach me to stay, to breathe, to hope, and to be loved just as I am. God is still with you, even when you cannot feel him. Even when the silence seems endless, he remains. The seed planted in your heart today will grow in its own quiet, sacred time. If all you managed today was to breathe, then that breath was already a prayer. Your presence here, your silent longing, your fragile hope, they are enough. You are not alone, and you never have been. Let grace settle over you now. Let the gentle truth sink in that you belong, just as you are. If these words found a home in the corners of your heart, you can simply write Amen below as a silent agreement. Or, if you wish, gently like this message as a quiet act of faith. And if you know someone who also waits in silence, share this with them, so they too might remember there is always a place to rest. You're welcome here. This is a space you can return to whenever you need to breathe, to rest, or just to be reminded that you are seen and deeply loved. If you wish to keep walking alongside us, let your heart stay close. This place is yours, too. For now, let yourself rest in the assurance that even in the quietest moments, you are held. The journey continues, and you do not walk it alone.